necessary to go inside the home here, pull out the screens. There's two methods for popping out the screens. You can either pop the screens out and place them directly outside the window, and on the second story you can float the screens down into the yard, or you can pull all the screens inside the home and then bring the screens out afterwards. So I prefer the method of popping the screens out, placing them outside the window, because when you pop all the screens off and bring it inside, you have to then collect them in piles and then maneuver them through the house, not running into anything, and then bring them outside. And the problem with that is that when you're collecting these piles inside the home, you're trying to keep all the screens from the right side together, all the screens from the left side together, from the front and from the back, in piles, so that once you're done cleaning the screens, you can then go and put them on the respective sides of the house, to then make it easier for you to put the screens back where they belong. So my recommendation is to pop the screens out, place them outside the window, or float them down into the yard, which I'm going to show you how to do. The only time I don't float them down from the second story and bring them inside is if I don't feel like I can float them down into the yard safely. And so obviously you always want to be safe with the screens. You don't want to get them bent or damaged. You don't want to damage anything outside the home. So in that situation, you're going to want to bring the screen in and then bring it down. But usually that's not the case. And if it is, you're only talking about a few screens that you can remember which side of the home they belong on. And so I'll now take you inside, and we will start popping out the screens, and I'll talk more about how to properly pop out the screens, how to float down the screens, and go from there. Okay, here we are inside the home. Now the first thing you want to do is obviously you got to pull up the blinds. You're going to pull out any safety features like a bar, unlock the window. Now this is a very easy screen to pop out. It just has the two tabs here. Every screen's a little different, but most windows will have some sort of tab to pull on. This one's going to pull up. As you can tell by the tabs, which direction you got to pull. So if it's at the bottom, you're pulling up. If it's from the side, you're pulling to the side. So it's pretty simple. You pull up, you push out. Now if this screen were missing the tabs, then what you want to do is look at the screen and determine, okay, is this a vertical window? I'm going to push up here at the top of the screen, right? And push out at the bottom. If the screen had the tabs on the side, then you're gonna push on the side of the screen here, and then pull, and then push out. Yeah. But you can't do that on this particular one because this screen pulls from the bottom. So whenever a tab is missing, you simply just have to put pressure to the side where it should be going if you had been pulling on the screen. So on this one, I would do this, push it out. So then I'm just going to drop the screen right out front of the window here since I'm on the first story. Close the window. Not going to lock it because later you're going to come back and you're going to wipe the tracks. So if you lock the window, you're going to spend more time just unlocking it again to clean the tracks. Okay, so here I am popping out the screen, and I can either set this screen right here against the wall outside, or I can go ahead, flip it over into the yard, which will save me some time from not having to walk over to the house and collect the screen. I can simply, when I'm going around through the yard collecting all the screens, just collect and keep going. So that saves me a little bit of time from walking over there to over here to get the screen. Okay, so I'm now on the second story. I'm going to pull out this screen and I'm going to show you how to float this screen safely down into the yard without damaging the screen or any of the property. So the way you do this is you hold the screen outside the window and you hold it flat. On this corner, if you're right-handed, or if you're left-handed, the other corner, you put your index finger right here, because you're going to flick the screen and you're going to make it rotate like a frisbee. Put your thumb on top, the other finger's underneath, and you're just simply going to hold it outside like this and flick it. And it will spin down to the ground. So here we are holding it out flat. We're going to flick the screen into a safe spot in the yard. So you want to aim for wherever you're going to flick the screen. Okay, here's a screen that pulls from the side. So you're going to unlock the window, open it. I have a tab here. I'm missing a tab up here. So I'm going to push to the left side. Oh. This screen is difficult. Okay, there we go. Popped it out. So you are going to experience difficult screens. Sometimes you're actually going to have to pull the screen from the outside if it just won't budge with a paint can tool, which I'll show you here in a bit. Once you get the screen pulled to the side, you're going to once again lay it out flat and float it down, since I'm on the second story. It's a bigger screen, but should work just the same. The screen floats down and goes down pretty safely, pretty softly, so it shouldn't damage the screen. Now, if you don't float the screen down flat and you just drop it straight down, then you're going to break a corner, you're going to bend the metal framing, and your customer is not going to be happy about that. So if you don't feel confident in your ability to float the screens down, then you definitely want to bring them inside and carry them down outside. Okay, so here we are at the different screen. You can see right here, this one has a different type of tab that you pull on, but a tab just the same. I'm going to attempt to show you throwing the screen down from the second story, and so you can kind of see the full flight of the screen. So I'm pulling the screen out, I'm laying it out flat. Now this screen already has a broken corner, unfortunately, but here we go. We're going to float it down. So you can see it goes down pretty softly. So here we have a sliding glass door screen. Now, you never want to remove the sliding glass door screen. Okay, so let's pretend that this screen was really tight. We were having a tough time popping it out. Now this screen isn't tight, but we're just gonna pretend that it is. You'd want to use one of these here. This is a paint can key for opening paint cans, and you can get these just about anywhere. Okay, I think we got it here. That's how you'd pop out the screen with your paint key if it's really tight. It's usually tight because either the screen is too big for the window when it was made, or these little tension clips, like I said before, they'll pop down like that, and then the screen's super tight. And the problem is you're trying to, this screen, it needs to push up, and because this clip is out, it's preventing this from actually being able to push all the way up into the space up here. It can't push all the way up to allow it to pop out from the bottom down here. And so when that happens, you're gonna have to pry this out of the window. And you know, there's been times where actually, you know, this thing gets all jacked up trying to pry it out because there's just no other way to get it out of the window.